February 1st, 2010. Today is my 4-year anniversary on YouTube. This short film is a story about my personal experience with and in the world of Warcraft. I made this video for many reasons, the main reason being to show that us gamers, in not only WoW but in every online game, have a connection that is unlike anything else. To show that we do, in fact, have lives that we choose to live through our virtual characters on a screen as opposed to in the physical world. My hope for this project is to help those who disagree with us for living in a cyber universe at least have a better understanding of what it means to us and why we choose to pursue this lifestyle. June 8th, 2005. I remember vividly that it was raining on this day, and I was stuck inside my house. I remember my little sister would always go on and on about this video game that she would play on the computer with her best friend, who was also our neighbor at the time. She used to call it just Warcraft, so I always thought it was just some sort of battleship or flight simulator game, like a craft made for battle, you know. I was 11 years old at the time, and I wasn't really a fan of video games very much, but like I said, it was a rainy day and I had nothing to do, so I asked her to show me the game. A few minutes later, Nolly, a Night Elf Druid on Elune US, was born. To be honest, I had just picked a druid because I thought they looked cool at the character selection screen. I remember she used to go on and on about how hard it was to hit level 60, so I laughed pretty hard when I leveled after killing like 4 mobs. But I didn't know that the amount of XP it took to level increased per level. So I never really left my computer that whole night. I remember just running around killing stuff until I had just finished hitting level 13. I didn't know about quests at the time, so I thought the only thing you could level off of was just straight grinding and just killing over and over again. About this time I noticed the sun coming up outside, but I continued playing until I pretty much passed out in my chair. It was amazing though. I look back and remember how just euphoric it felt. Every night I would just find myself mesmerized by the incredible world that I was playing in, you know? I remember that for my first 18 levels or so, I thought all there was just Teldrassil. You know, the Night Elf starter zone. I thought that was it. I thought that was it. I thought that was all you had to play in. But even that was enough for me. Seeing all the trees and the incredible music and sounds and creatures, and just keep in mind that this was my first online game as well. So I was just astonished when I'd see someone run by and I'd type something like /wave, and they would stop and just, kindly wave back and continue on. That kind of stuff was a huge deal to me at the time. I remember there was a weapon vendor in Aldrassil, and I used to try to buy all the weapons that she had. And I remember the highest price for one of the weapons was 14 silver, and I set that as my very, very first real goal in the game, was to make 14 silver, and to buy that weapon. Needless to say, I was pissed when I found that I couldn't use bows, but then I set my sights slightly higher. I wanted to get one of those mini pets because I saw somebody running around with them. So I did a lot of research through Google and Alakazam, which was fucking awesome at the time. I don't know what happened. It told me that I could get a small bird pet from a vendor outside of Darnassus. I actually begged some rogue that I found in Darnassus to give me like 30 silver to buy one. And the guy just gave it to me. And it's crazy now that I think about it. Him and I are like still good friends. Although he doesn't play very much these days. Anyway, I got the Great Horned Owl, and I was just fucking psyched about that. So a few weeks go by, and I somehow managed to find my way to Ruthuran village, and I saw a boat. I've seen the boat before. I honest to God thought that it was just a landscape thing. I thought it was just there for looks. I didn't know that you could actually do anything with it. But just out of curiosity one morning, I decided to see if I could actually ride it. So I get on the thing, and before I knew it, I was on another dock. I was in Darkshore. Of course, I didn't know I was in Darkshore at the time. I was stunned. I was just stunned. Now, I was too low level to really get anything done in there, and I kept getting killed by the mobs along the coast, but just to know that there was actually stuff beyond Teldrassil was just mind-blowing for me. You know, I was an idiot at the time and didn't know there was a map, so I really wasn't sure how many places there were in the game, but when I really think about it, I think that made it that much better. Anyway, I ended up spending that whole day just running around Darkshore as a wisp, checking out the whole area. I remember that I got lost and it took me like 5 hours to find my corpse and resurrect again. I also very vividly remember that while I was running around as a wisp, I actually got a totally random invite to my very first guild. It was called Midnight Crusaders. It was led by a hunter who doesn't play anymore by the name of Datana. And there was also 2 rogues in the guild, one of which doesn't play anymore, and the other one, Thalry, or something like that, I'm still good friends with. I remember that when the invite thing popped up on my screen, it scared the shit out of me. Like, I jumped out of my chair. So a few months go by of just discovering and leveling and making friends along the way. And I would like to take some time to express how amazed I was when I ran into Stormwind for the first time. I remember my neighbor at the time and his friends summoned me into Elwyn one night, and they logged soon after. So I found myself running around Elwyn, which was something new for me as well. It was the first time I had seen a more realistic feel in the game, like actual green grass and deer and trails and little cabins with a lake and all that good stuff. But eventually I found myself running through these huge gates, and for the first time I went through, I was sure I was going to get attacked, because every time I had seen anything like that, it usually meant death. But oddly enough, that didn't happen. Instead, I ended up in the middle of this huge city, and I was just baffled. There were so many level-capped players, you know, people dancing, cool mounts running around, an auction house, vendors, you know, great town-like music, trade chat, of course, small shops everywhere, the Griffin Master. There was just so much shit everywhere, and I loved it.